What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Nice Catch Podcast, where we are here to catch you up on all the latest football news and analysis. I'm Baden.
And I'm Hank. Today, we're going to be covering all the headlines from NFL Week 13 and even some from Week 12, given that Thanksgiving break. We're going to be talking about some of the headlines of the Cowboys. Are they good? Are they not? We're going to be talking about the crazy game between the Panthers and the Rams, college football rivalry week, all of the craziness that's been going on right here, right now on the Nice Catch Podcast. And Baden, think you're kicking us off today with your top three games?
I'm gonna bring us into the episode here.
Bring us in.
All right. I think my number one, I'm going this week, this episode, I'm going Texas. Over the past 2 weeks, I think Texas has come in strong.
And we're not talking about the Longhorns.
No, we're not talking about the Longhorns. I'm talking about
for
NFL.
My own sanity.
For the exactly. For the number 3 game from the past 2 weeks, because we didn't have a week 12 episode because of Thanksgiving break. So
we're giving it some love.
We're giving it some love. We'll talk mainly about week 13, I think, but a couple week 12 things. Starting off, week 12, Texans over Bills. What a game. The Texans had a few good games with Davis Mills, but there's still the question, not even the question, like your starting quarterback is Davis Mills. But we know the Texans defense is really excellent, like truly an excellent defense in the league right now. But here's the other thing. You're facing Josh Allen and the Bills offense. So there was no telling what would happen going into this game, but almost a guaranteed, or something that seemed you could be pretty confident in, is the Bills would come out with a W. That seemed at least fairly certain that would happen. The Texans controlled that game defensively. Mm-hmm. This was not a very offensive game. As a matter of fact, between the two teams, 6 points were scored in the second half. A field goal in the third quarter by the Texans and a field goal in the fourth quarter by the Bills. But the Texans, that defense really won them the game. Davis Mills played well, 16 for 30, 153 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But let's look at Josh Allen. 24 for 34, 253 yards. That's incredible. With 2 interceptions. Sorry, I got a little close to the mic there. 2 interceptions. Guess how many times Josh Allen was sacked?
How many?
8 times. That tells you how that game was won right there. Texans, 2 interceptions and 8 sacks. That is what they did to end that game. They did not let Josh Allen do anything. And so that was a huge game for the Texans. The Texans, third in their division. They needed this win I think they were spot 8. So they were the first spot out of the playoffs. They needed this win. They couldn't fall behind, and they didn't. They got that win, which keeps them in contention. And their season's only looking up, as I think we'll continue to talk about.
Yeah, and you look at playoff contention with that, and of course their huge win last week too over the Colts. Mm-hmm. Right now they're the first team out of the playoffs, but they have a tiebreaker over the teams that are in. They're 1 game back from the Bills, Colts, and Chargers, and I don't think the Texans have played the Chargers this year, but they've beaten the Bills and the Colts, and so they have the tiebreaker with both those teams. So they just really need to, have 1 game up on those teams for the rest of the season. And with this trajectory, they've won 4 straight. They're playing the Chiefs this Sunday night. It's going to be a really fun one. That's
going to be a really fun one. And, getting C.J. Stroud back and healthy again, bit of a slow game against the Colts, but a win is a win against a great team. Mm-hmm. And so I think we're only going to see him get readjusted and more comfortable getting back into the game. And I think there's a lot of good things that are going to happen. My next game, number 2, Cowboys versus Eagles week 12. Huge upset. And not only was a huge upset, but an insane and incredible comeback from the Cowboys. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, 21-0 at half, 21-3, or 21-0?
I think it was 21-0 in the second quarter. I
In the
think
second
the Cowboys
quarter-
scored right before halftime.
Scored right before halftime. Okay. Complete 21 unanswered points by the Eagles. They put up 21. Game seems like it's going to be a complete blowout. 21 points by the second quarter, or in the second quarter. Complete dominance on defense, and then it's like a flip switched.
A switch flipped. That threw me
Whichever
for a loop.
one it is, or both, it happened. And the Cowboys came and scored 23 unanswered points.
24 unanswered points.
24 unanswered
3
points
touchdowns and a field goal.
against the post Super Bowl winner, the Super Bowl winner from last year. The Cowboys came in with one of the biggest comebacks this season, one of the most unlikely comebacks, because we've seen, take for instance, the Bills coming back against the Ravens.
Yeah.
Two great teams. You can imagine that happening. Broncos coming back against the Giants. That's a good team coming back against a very bad team.
Yeah, exactly.
Cowboys coming back against the Eagles. That's not expected, and that was huge. A big win, and it only went uphill from there.
Yeah, of course. That's started the turnaround that leads to the next game you're going to talk about.
Leads to my number one game, and like I said, keeping it in Texas, Cowboys over Chiefs. NFL Week 13 was wild.
Crazy.
An absolutely wild week. We'll talk about a lot of that, but what kind of, I guess, brought us into the week was this game. This game kind of set the tone for everything we'd see. So, Chiefs versus Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. The Chiefs kind of got out hot, 14-7 going into the second quarter, and then the Chiefs didn't score another point until the fourth quarter. Second and third quarter, they were completely shut out by the Cowboys. Dak Prescott really led this team. We'll talk about how MVP odds and everything have kind of shifted, and he's bumped up. He looked like exactly what Cowboys fans want to see out of the Cowboys in this game. And now, the Chiefs have been rocky. This is their, this has not been their best season. Genuinely, probably one of the worst seasons we've seen since Patrick Mahomes, if not the worst season we've seen for the Chiefs. But the Cowboys, this was a huge win. So not only did they beat the Super Bowl champion, but they beat the other Super Bowl team within a span of 5 days. That fast of a turnaround between two. I mean, even with the Kansas City Chiefs not being the team that they were, it's Patrick Mahomes, so you have to be scared of that. This turnaround, insane, and that puts, technically, with the tie, puts the Cowboys over the Chiefs right now. Chiefs 6-6, Cowboys 6-5-1, and it puts them one game back from the Eagles.
A game and a half back from the Eagles.
A game and a half back from
right
the Eagles
now.
for the division.
Whoa, I lost my...
Sorry, I had standings pulled up too.
I do too. There we go. And y'all just heard my email go off. But...
game and a half back.
Game and a half back and 2 games back from playoff contention. But we'll talk more about the Cowboys later in this episode.
But, just 2 incredible back-to-back games. And that's what I got for you. Texans versus Bills, Cowboys over Eagles, and then Cowboys over Chiefs.
Definitely. Happy Thanksgiving, Cowboys fans.
Happy Thanksgiving.
What a day.
What you got, Hank?
Next 3. My top 3 games, love those. Keeping it in Texas. I going a couple college football rivalry week games, and then one of the best NFL games we've had all season. First, going with Vanderbilt over Tennessee. Coming in, I thought this would be a pretty close one. I was really high on Tennessee's offense early in this season and before the season. Just looking at what they have been. Of course, they lost Dylan Sampson and Nico transferring, all of that drama. But Tennessee has historically had a pretty good offense over the past 5 years, looking at Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker. And I was just really excited to see what Joey Aguilar would do with their offense as well. And they've lost some good games. I mean, of course, when you're Tennessee and your losses are Georgia, Bama, and one more, and OU, then, I mean, those are good teams to lose to. So I thought it'd be pretty close. And then Vanderbilt ran away with it. Pavia didn't have the game of his life through 2 picks, but a good performance jumps him up in Heisman odds. And just a fun game to watch. Just 2 quality teams going at it in a really fun game. And an even bigger rivalry, and somehow a much closer game, was the Iron Bowl. Alabama versus Auburn. And Auburn's offense did not look great out there. But their defense somehow kept them in the game. And Bama didn't run away with it like a lot of people thought they would. And this game ended up being really close, ended up being somewhat down to the wire. You look at the win percentage. I mean, it was about 57% Alabama, 40-something% Auburn in the fourth, sorry. This was not a game that Bama ran away with. Really close, way too close for a team that needed a win to get to the SEC championship. And, of course, Bama still has their problem in the rushing game. And not the Bama team we wanted to see. Auburn kept it really close, and just a really fun game to watch. Wish Auburn would have gotten the win. Caused a little college football playoff chaos. Y'all know I love that. But fun game there, down to the wire. And another game that was maybe even more down to the wire, maybe the best NFL game of this season, was the Panthers versus the Rams. There were, I don't remember exactly how many, quite a few lead changes in this game, quite a few ties. And again, you look at the win percentage, Rams went in favored by about 10 points with a 78% chance win percentage. Got above 80% at times. And then the Panthers just kept sneaking up. The Panthers had the lead early and kept the lead most of the game. Of course, back and forth. But Matthew Stafford, 3 turnovers, 2 picks and a fumble. And the fumble was at a pinnacle moment. That was what sealed the game for the Panthers. And always fun to see an upset. I still think the Rams are the best, or not, one of the best, if not the best teams in the NFL. But the Panthers look like a really good team right now. And this game was so fun to watch. And again, the catch of the year possibly by Puka Nacua. I was watching it kind of the corner of my eye, putting away my laundry, and I was like, wait, how did he catch that? I couldn't tell what he did. And watching the slow-mo and seeing him get the one hand and the concentration, just
getting it around.
Definitely catch of the year candidate. And of course, we'll talk about a couple more catch of the year candidates later in this game. But my top 3 games: Vanderbilt over Tennessee, Bama over Auburn, and the Panthers over the LA Rams. That brings us to
players. Okay. My number 3 player, even with a loss, Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota came in, I want to say 4 weeks ago, when Jaden Daniels hurt his wrist, broke his elbow.
Ugh.
A really gruesome
Did not want to
injury.
see that video.
I was watching it live, and it was really bad. Marcus Mariota has to come in. He's been a somewhat reliable backup in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But definitely not, there are better backups, I would say. This game, he led his team. He did everything that he could. Washington played the Broncos in week 13, and that's a game we didn't talk about. Overtime game. Came down to the wire. Both teams scored in overtime. Washington Commanders went for the 2-point conversion. It got batted down by Nick Bonito, who we've talked about a lot. Great defender for the Broncos. But 28 for 50, 294 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That is an incredible game for an NFL starter. For a backup to come in here with the Washington Commanders, who have had a pretty rocky season, definitely had a lot of offensive troubles. They haven't been the real powerhouse that they were last year, the real high-scoring team that we saw last year. Come in here and made the game a lot closer than it should have been with the Denver Broncos. Took it to overtime, then proceeded to score in overtime, and if you watch the game, had a wide open receiver for the 2-point conversion to win it. Marcus Mariota just didn't get the ball high enough. It got batted down. But he led this team. He did what he could. Not only was he obviously the number one passer as the quarterback, he was the number one rusher in the game.
Really?
Yes, 10
That's
carries,
crazy.
which actually, when you look at the stats, it doesn't speak well of their rushing game. 10 carries.
Yeah.
10 carries for 55 yards. Chris Rodriguez had 11 carries for 41 yards. So more carries and 14 less yards. Marcus Mariota led this team on the Deebo Samuel had 2 carries for -3 yards. That's funny. Sorry. Marcus Mariota literally did everything that he could to get this game. He took 2 sacks. 2 sacks and 1 interception against the Broncos defense with what we've seen, and putting up 26 points. That's pretty good, especially for what we've seen from the Commanders up to this point. So really, a lot of respect to him. This was a good game. It's obviously a really tough loss. They're out of their season is over, and so I really I was rooting for the Broncos, but I really appreciated the game that Marcus Mariota played, and I really apologized to him for Chris Collinsworth not being able to say his name.
Yeah, that was pretty strange.
That was a little strange. Mariota. It's like everybody knows that's not how you say his name. But not the point.
It's not like he's a undrafted rookie.
No, he's been in the league for he's basically he's a veteran.
Yeah.
He was on the Netflix quarterback.
Yeah, he's on the quarterback show.
He's a well-known player.
I mean, maybe he talked to him and he's like, "Hey, just so you know, you say my name like this, and we're all wrong."
Yeah.
But something's got to be explained.
Something's got to be explained there.
Okay.
My number 2 player, and a name we haven't heard in the past few weeks, or quite actually most of the season, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has his comeback game.
He's back
against division rival, and honestly, probably their biggest rival besides maybe the Chiefs. The Bengals are playing the Ravens on Thanksgiving. That was the first game, or was it the last game? I can't remember.
It was the night game.
That was the night game. The night game against the Chiefs, against the Ravens on Thanksgiving. Joe Burrow, for your first game back, you don't really want to be playing against the Ravens secondary as a quarterback, I would say.
Exactly.
And I mean, he tore them up. It was maybe not necessarily a blowout, but it was a very one-handed win. I mean, 32-14. Joe Burrow came in there, got this win. The Bengals, they're out of it. It's late in the season to have him back. But 24 for 46, 261 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That is a great stat line. 0 interceptions. There's a great stat line for your first game back after this long of a break because of injury. Just a great game for him. Getting back in there, leading his team, showing, hey, I'm still here. Don't forget about Joe Burrow. And so really, really a good game by him.
Yeah, especially when you look at how the Bengals have started their last few seasons, and they're always the Bengals are going to lose their first 3 games, largely because Joe Burrow has been coming off of injury. Yeah. And so Joe Burrow proving, hey, I'm coming off injury, sure I'm banged up, I can still win even when I'm not 100%, even
against the Ravens, who have only been picking up steam.
Yeah, I mean, because the Ravens, they were 1-5, and then they won 5 straight. And it's like, oh man, they're contenders now. And then Joe Burrow steps out and says, not yet. Not on my watch.
Yep. And then my number 1 player of the week, Derek Stingley. Derek Stingley allowed 0 receptions against the Colts. The Colts, who, lest we forget, were the number 1 team in the AFC for a while. And are still, they're still a big contender in the playoffs.
Still a wild card team right now.
Yeah, still a wild card team at the moment. Did the Jags bump above them?
The Jags have the tiebreaker right now.
Okay, yeah.
Based on win percentage in common games.
Derek Stingley allowed 0 receptions. Not only that, this is his 3rd time allowing 0 receptions in a game,
Which is insane.
And it could be more than that. The 3rd time in the this season plus the last 6 weeks of last season. It's in a short amount of time, considering how heavy the NFL has leaned into passing, really, and a lot of the big names we think of are receivers and quarterbacks. Allowing 0 receptions is an incredible feat. And yet, he wasn't playing against a Jamar Chase or anything. But Michael Pittman is a strong receiver. Alec Pierce has had a very good season this year. Even having to cover Jonathan Taylor on bubble screens and things. This is a team that Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
They have threats downfield. So to allow 0 receptions is incredible. And that's a big, we look at the Texans and how they are looking better. They're 7-5. We talked about them. Looking at them, a big reason why they're doing what they're doing is because of this defense. And I think one of the best players, one of the leaders on this defense is Derek Stingley in only his 3rd year. A 3rd-year corner who is one of the best cornerbacks I think that we are seeing in today's game right now. And so just definitely wanted to shout him out. Just an incredible stat and a really, really good lockdown corner.
Yeah. And again, you mentioned this. It's against the Colts. The Colts are top. Wow. That was bad.
Hey, it's good. It's good.
Okay. Hey, we'll leave that in.
We'll leave it in. We're real.
Exactly.
We're honest.
See, I may have turned 20 a couple days ago.
Yeah, hey, happy birthday to Hank.
Thank you.
Just turned 20 yesterday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Or when you hear this episode, probably not yesterday, but
a few days ago, somewhere around this area.
Recently.
But it's okay. See, we got to stay humble somehow.
Exactly.
But the Colts, as I was saying, what was I saying? Top 5 in total yards per game, and top 10 in passing yards per game. When you think of the Colts, a lot of people think Daniel Jones, he's having a great season, but Jonathan Taylor is the biggest reason for their success. I mean, they're 6th in rushing yards per game right now, top in the league in points per game, and again, top 10 in passing yards per game. And that's the team that Stingley held. 0 allowed receptions.
0 allowed receptions.
And a huge win.
Yeah, a big win for the Texans. So, yeah, Marcus Mariota, Joe Burrow, Derek Stingley. Those are my top 3 players.
My top 3 players, I'm going deep for some of these. Going pretty deep.
I love it.
Well, we'll start at, the top, kind of in the spotlight, and then we'll, dive down.
Really dive
and then
down.
we'll
Go
look
down the
at
rabbit hole.
Exactly. So we'll start with Jameson Williams. This is a player who, coming into the league a couple years ago, out of Alabama, having torn his ACL in the championship game. Big question marks on his career. Of course, you look at the Lions, you look at their firepower. How is he going to carve out a role for himself? Is he just going to be kind of the speed guy, end arounds, that kind of guy? But he has proven himself to be one of the most valuable players on a deep Lions team, especially with injuries. Sam Laporta down, and just in a big game. Of course, this game was a loss against the Packers on Thanksgiving, but 7 catches, 144 yards, and a touchdown. I was just looking back at his career and the question marks that a lot of people have had of, he wasn't that great until late in his college career. Is he going to be that good in the NFL? And I think he's proven himself, and right around now is a good reason that we've seen him prove himself.
Averaging 20 yards a reception,
which is insane.
Insanity.
That is, of course, he is a deep threat. That is what he's a speed guy, but he's proven himself to be more than just that. And then next, dive in a little deeper. We'll go here. 2 weeks ago, week in college football, week 11, we have Auburn redshirt freshman Deuce Knight. didn't play last week in the Iron Bowl just to preserve his red shirt, I think. I'm pretty sure that's exactly right. Didn't do 100% of my research. But Deuce Knight, Auburn freshman, looks pretty scary for the future. Again,
Quarterback?
albeit quarterback.
Yeah,
yes.
he didn't play last. He didn't play against Alabama.
Yes, I know. I'm pretty sure it was because of the red shirt.
Oh, okay.
But albeit these stats are against Mercer, FCS opponent for Cupcake Week. But just listen to these stats. In the air, 15 of 20, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's pretty good. On the ground, which again, we see young quarterbacks rely on the run game a lot. And for some, it works out really well. I think of Marcel Reed, his first year starting. Even Jackson Dart this year has utilized his legs really well. 9 carries, 162 yards. That's 18 yards per carry. And he had a 75-yard touchdown run at one point. 4 touchdowns on the ground in one of his second career start, I believe. This guy, Deuce Knight, looks pretty scary for the future. And again, it's Auburn. Not the most scary team in the SEC when you think about A&M looking like a contender, Texas being a perennial, who knows what they're going to do, Georgia, Alabama, Vanderbilt signing, I almost said Scott Clark. No, Clark Lee to a 6-year extension, or LSU getting a new head coach.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. Florida having a quality coaching hire, I think. Auburn might not be the powerhouse, but Deuce Knight could be a reason that they win some good games the next
Win some
couple
big
years.
games, yeah.
And then deepest in the bag. If you watch NFL highlights, you saw this highlight. One of the catches of the year, not Puka Nacua, but you might not have heard this name very much before. Treylon Burks. He was drafted first round by the Titans after the Titans traded A.J. Brown to the Eagles. He was deemed A.J. Brown's replacement, essentially. Just, that was the trade. He was drafted with the pick they got A.J. Brown with, or one of the picks around there. And waived by the Titans after only scoring 1 touchdown in his first few seasons. Picked up by the Commanders. Only had 4 catches before Sunday night. And he wowed with a clutch touchdown and a catch of the year candidate, back corner of the end zone, Odell style, in the end zone. Treylon Burks, University of Arkansas alum. I know we have some Arkansas listeners, and so shout out. Arkansas. Might talk about their head coaching hire later. But Treylon Burks just putting on a show, a highlight out there on the field last Sunday.
It was an if you haven't seen it, just look up
Definitely look
Treylon Burks, insane catch, something like that.
Well, and shout out Marcus Mariota for throwing the ball,
for
too.
getting the ball
Tying
there.
it all together.
Tying it all
It's
together. See,
connected.
me and Hank are on one wavelength,
Wavelength.
Wavelength? Did I say wavelength? We are locked in.
We are so locked in.
Clearly.
Post-Thanksgiving break.
Post-Thanksgiving break lock-in.
Does that bring us to...
teams. That brings us to teams. All right. For my top 3 teams of the week, first, I'm going to say Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, we already talked about this, or Hank talked about this, with a big win over Tennessee. Vanderbilt has been a team that's been in conversation a lot on our podcast specifically over this college season because they're a team that just objectively has really never been good.
Yeah.
And they've been one of, if not the laughingstock in the SEC for a long time.
Exactly.
And like the old, if you come to Vanderbilt, we're going to show you how to play some real college ball. It's like, well,
and then getting embarrassed by Bama the next week.
theoretically, they are next on our schedule. That they're just kind of a joke.
Yeah.
This year, they are anything but a joke. They come in here, beat ranked Tennessee, and not just beat them, 45-24, almost double their points. A big week for them. And do they really have a chance to be in the playoffs, or are they kind of out of it? I'm not exactly sure. Like, they have probably
technically they have a chance. ESPN right now gives them a 6% chance.
Okay.
But again, highly unlikely for them to make it. There have to be some
crazy losses.
absolute chaos for them to sneak their way.
So, like, But even without a playoff berth this season, number one, hopes are high moving forward, and this is the best season they have had in a long time. This season is something for Vanderbilt fans to be proud of, to be excited about, and to have hope for the future looking forward. Like you said, extending their coaches' would it be contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, extending their coaches' contract. They're looking to the future.
Exactly.
To the future. Me and Hank are having a hard time with the English today because we're so excited. The nerves are so high.
Exactly.
We're pumped up. So I think that this was a big game for Vanderbilt. Second, and kind of on the same wavelength, kind of on the same trajectory, the Bengals. The Bengals come in on Thanksgiving Day. Their season's over. If there is a division where they could come back, it would be in the division that they're in because, I mean, the Steelers and Ravens and Browns are just they're all kind of rocky, sloppy teams, I would say. But, like, they're pretty much, their season is realistically over. But for them to come in here, get Joe Burrow back, and hopefully they remember that an offensive line is important during the offseason, and they can keep Joe Burrow. But to get him back and get a big rivalry win, division rival, get this win, stop the Ravens' momentum, which is big. Just a big week for them. Just great to have Joe Burrow back. They're an easy team to root for always. And so just a very big week for the Bengals. And then my number one team, the Packers. The Packers come in. There were a lot of upsets this week. This upset was a very, upset-wise, it was barely an upset. It wasn't like some of the huge ones that we saw. But with the Bears only picking up steam, the Bears overtaking the Packers for the NFC North, the Packers have to keep up. And playing the Lions, which they were both 7-win teams. They were half a game up because of the tie. Playing against that division rival in the Lions, who just coaching-wise, everything we see with the Lions, they're an incredible team, a feared team. For the Packers to come in here and get that win on Thanksgiving to keep them in contention, that's big. And they seriously needed that. Because with the Bears only picking up steam, the Packers, if they want to be in the playoffs, right now, looking at they're probably the last wild card spot, if I'm looking.
The Packers?
Yeah.
If the playoffs ended today, yes, the Packers would be the second to last. They're
the second to last.
One or half a game up on. Wait, that's weird. On the Niners. Because the Niners have one more win, but also one more loss
because of that darn tie. Goodness.
So strange.
It's really unfortunate. I don't like it, but that doesn't matter. The Packers needed this win. They needed this boost that week, and they got it. And they're going to have to keep playing like this. They can't fall back because if they lose, get behind the 49ers, and then are 2 games back from the Bears, that's going to be devastating.
Yeah.
So,
and a big game against the Bears this Sunday. Bears go into Lambeau, and, well, we know how that's been historically.
Yeah.
And so, of course, there's no more Aaron Rodgers. But
so we'll see if the Packers still own the Bears. But, yeah, those are my teams. Kind of some underliers, Vanderbilt, Bengals, and Packers.
Definitely. I love those. I love Vanderbilt getting some love.
Yeah.
The first 10-win season in history, which is crazy. I mean,
That's
think
insane.
about college football has been going on for over 150 years. I don't know when Vanderbilt's program officially started, but they've had 4 9-win seasons before. 2 of those were only because of bowl games. So only 2 seasons before with 9 regular season wins. And this is the first season they have a 10th regular season win. Best season in program history. Shout out Clark Lee, shout out Diego Pavia, shout out everyone on that Vanderbilt team.
Absolutely.
In my top 3 teams, I'm going all NFL this time. Some college teams, namely one in Austin, don't want to give a lot of love to because they're still not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about 2 other Texas teams.
They'll be watching A&M from the couch.
Yeah. don't lose to Florida if you want to get in the playoffs, okay?
Yeah. Anyways,
We're
we're unbiased though.
The Texans are my first team I'm going to mention because, as we mentioned, their season was over. They were 3-5.
Yeah.
Davis Mills was their starting quarterback.
They were back from the Jags and the Colts, and I mean, like, when you're third in their division at that point.
Yeah, there was not much hope for this team, and I mean they lost their first 3, 1-2, lost one. It's just like was not looking good. They were 3-5, and then they've been on a 4-game win streak to get to 7-5, and they're 1 game back from the playoffs right now. As we mentioned, the tiebreaker, they'll have the head-to-head with the Colts and the Bills. The last game of the season is against the Colts. That could very well be whoever wins this game takes the division. But their defense, of course, carries them, one of the best in the league, and their offense is finally picking up steam. Their offensive line has been, very, very bad.
Very bad.
But are the Texans legit? Are they? I don't know. We'll see.
I do. It seems like they might be too legit to quit.
Ooh, bring a little...
All right.
I like it. Then my number 2 team, another NFC contender who right now is the number 1 seed, the Bears. The Bears sit at the number 1 spot in the NFC. If playoffs ended today, they would get the tiebreaker over the Rams because of best win percentage in conference games, and they would get the bye week. Who would have thought? I would never have picked the Bears to be the 1 seed, maybe to make the playoffs. But I thought that the Lions were going to be better. The Packers were going to be way better than the Bears. The Vikings, even with their defense, I thought had a good chance to be better than the Bears. I didn't think J.J. McCarthy was going to be what we've seen exactly. With the Bears, lost their first 2, and then have won some math. 9 of their last 10 games. Crazy. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams has looked really good.
Yeah.
I did not expect to see Caleb Williams with this stat line having 17 touchdowns and 5 picks. I mean, that's a huge improvement from last season. Staying healthy, throwing in some trick plays, even a great 1-2 punch at running back, DeAndre Swift. He's been great, but even Kyle Monangai, rookie out of Rutgers, 7th-round rookie, ironically, if I think of another 7th-round rookie out of Rutgers a few years ago, a team that had a 7th-round rookie out of Rutgers won the Super Bowl. That was the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe, 2022 was Pacheco's rookie season, and I think the Chiefs won the Super Bowl that year.
So. That's his first year.
Or was that the year that the Bengals won? The Bengals won in 2020. No, that was the year that the Chiefs beat
the 49ers?
I think that was the year that they beat the Eagles. Was 2022.
Right after the Bengals.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's right.
Super Bowl winner, but I need to fact check myself now. Now it's really bugging me.
Rutgers, running back university.
Exactly. Okay, yeah, because they won the Super Bowl in 2023, but it was the 2022 season. So, because the Bengals or the Rams won the one in 2022, but it was again the 2021 season.
Okay. Yeah.
Now we're locked in. But the Bears, top seed in the NFC. Right now, they have a little bit under a 50% chance to win their division. The Packers are still favored to, just if you look at schedule and projections. But sitting in a very good spot. They're almost a lock for the playoffs at this point, and we'll see if they can keep up the pace. I'm very surprised to see the Bears. Congrats to them. Great success. But another team that had a very slow start and has picked up a lot of steam on a win streak is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about them already, but in the last 2 weeks of football, they have beaten both the Super Bowl teams from last season. And I don't know if you need a reminder, but no NFC East team has repeated as a division champion in over 20 years.
Wow.
Who won the NFC East last season? The Eagles. The Cowboys are 1.5 games back from the Eagles. And if the Eagles lose 2 games and the Cowboys win out, that trend will continue. Just looking at schedules, the Eagles' hardest 2 games are at the Chargers and at the Bills. Both of those, with the Eagles falling downhill, are ones that they definitely could lose.
Very losable games.
They're very losable, and the Eagles, again, we've seen late-season collapses from them very recently. Of course, last season they won it all, but
Season before that, they started what was it, 10-0, 9-0, and then they almost lost out.
they almost lost
Practically.
out. That let the Cowboys win the division, and the Cowboys' hardest 2 games are versus the Chargers. That's at home for the Cowboys, and then this Thursday, they play at the Lions. That will be their hardest game. If the Cowboys win that game, then they will be favored in the rest of their games with a chance to take the division, which is insane. Who would have thought somewhere in the middle of this Cowboys season, they'd say, hey, the Cowboys will have a legit shot to win their division. According to the Athletics NFL playoff simulator, the Cowboys right now second in the division, 23% chance to make the playoffs, 10% chance to win the division. So we'll see. But the Cowboys picking up steam. Dak right now 3rd in MVP odds. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens having incredible seasons. Defensive acquisitions playing really well. Are the Cowboys legit? We'll see. All 3 of these. Did I say another NFC team earlier? Anyway, Texans are in the AFC.
I said an NFC team and the Packers, and then you said 2 NFC teams. Maybe that's what you're thinking.
I don't know. I may have accidentally said the Texans were in the NFC. But
possibly.
3 teams that we'll see. Are they contenders? Are they not? At very different levels. The Texans, will they take the division? Bears, will they take the 1 seed? Cowboys, are they going to make the playoffs?
Yeah.
We will see. Those are my top 3 teams.
And that is a great selection of teams.
Thank you. Thank you, Baden. Same to you.
Storylines. Where do I want to start? Here, I'll start with here. We had a missed field goal in the Giants Patriots game, and it's important. It's something that we're going to talk about. And you're probably thinking it's just a missed field goal. Kickers miss field goals plenty. It's not that big a deal. Well, just wait. The missed field goal, the ball didn't actually get kicked. Really, what got kicked was the ground 2 feet in front of the ball. Young Hoku comes in here, and he is an established kicker. We know he's a good kicker, which makes this even more. I don't even know. It's funny, but it's just.
It's an enigma, kind of.
It's an enigma. He comes in here as a very established kicker. We know he's good. He's with the Giants. He had a bad game with the Falcons. They release him, or did they no, I think they cut him or released him. Giants pick him up. I would say, for the Giants, yeah, that's a good pick. He gets in here to kick a field goal, and it's everywhere right now. If you look at anything, if you're up to date on anything with the NFL, I would almost guarantee you've seen it. He winds up for the field goal just like any other. The snap is good. The hold is good. Everything looks very systematically as it should. And when he plants the lead leg, and his kicking leg comes forward, and he kicks the ground. He doesn't make it to the ball. And, of course, the holder picks it up, tries to run around, gets sacked. No points out of that. Just devastation. I mean, if you look at not even exasperation, if anything, from the Giants sideline. But it's just, what do you... It's a headline, it's a storyline, but what do you even talk about? It was just one of the most odd things that you've ever seen. It's not like the hold was bad or bobbled and he, just got it down. It's not like the laces were pointed in the wrong direction. He didn't slip. He didn't, the snap didn't go over his head or anything. He missed the ball and kicked the ground. And this isn't a first-year kicker. This isn't an undrafted guy that they had to pull last second. This is an established kicker in the league, and it kicked the ground. And I don't think there's much to say beyond that. And it doesn't. They got blown out anyways. That field goal. It's not like that was to win the game, but that deflates some momentum. And if you look at some of the reactions from the sideline, it's just like Jackson Dart. Oh my gosh! What? How do you move on from that? It's just it was just so odd. I don't know what to say beyond the fact that it was just weird.
Yeah, I mean, it was very strange. Of course, you talked about Young Wei Q being a great kicker, of course, in a slump of a season. But I'm looking at what he said afterwards, and he said, "Well, like I was, getting up to the ball, and it was cold, and the ball kind of slipped, and I just, pulled up once I saw that like the ball was slipping. I wasn't going to be able to kick it, and kind of weird. It's just, I'm guessing it's kind of just a funk, like
Yeah.
Everyone
That
has
happens.
a bad day, or like, what was I thinking? Like, what was I doing?
That's almost every day for some people. That's
Yeah.
me. Yeah, just like you said, an enigma.
Yeah, and I mean, wild storyline.
Yeah. Just gotta move on to the next week.
And Charlie Brown's season of missed
The
field
season
goals
of missed field goals.
funny. It's
Getting pranked.
There you go. Maybe that was
Yeah.
it.
Maybe that's what it was.
The holder had watched too much Charlie
he
Brown.
was scared that the holder was going to pull the ball because they had both just watched Charlie Brown.
Exactly.
And so he tried to stop himself and hit the ground. But then the holder was actually not,
Yeah, the holder said, like, they were watching it in pregame, and the holder said, like, hey, if we're down a lot, when you try to kick a field goal,
I'm going to do this.
I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it.
He was in his head, and that happens.
Yeah, exactly. Getting in your own kicker's head.
Getting in your own
crazy
kicker.
work.
Exactly what ice in your own kicker. All right. My number 2 headline: Ohio State breaks the 4-game losing streak to Michigan, and in pretty dominating style. There, they came in and the beginning of the game was, I thought it was going to be a. I thought the police were going to be called again. I thought there was going to be pepper spray once again pulled out on the. I mean, they were really going at it at the beginning. A player headbutted the ref. I mean,
Yeah,
that was ridiculous. And
It was weird.
it was very weird. And it wasn't, when we say a player headbutted the ref, it's not like he just wheeled back and knocked the guy out.
He got a lot closer than he meant to. He
got
meant to get in his face. And
Yeah,
it was
he
closer.
definitely got in his face. And I mean, like, the ref wasn't even knocked back, but you could see, his nose squished.
Yeah. I mean,
But still, you don't get in the ref's face
if
like
you
that.
make contact with the ref, I think you should be kicked out of the game.
I'm
surprised that he
100%
wasn't.
agree.
But
It was like a warning. It was like, this is their first penalty. With the second one, they'll be kicked out of the game. I feel like you got to get him out of
if
there.
you make
got to
contact with the ref.
You got to set a precedent. But so I was a little, this game looked like it could be very tense, and obviously, like, big rivalry. It was tense, but it ended up being tense in a good, just competitive. But Ohio State has lost 4 in a row, and this hasn't even been like Michigan has been the better team, the higher ranked team. And Ohio State won the national championship last year. They had a devastating loss to Michigan earlier in the season.
Yeah, I mean, that kept him out of the Big Ten championship.
Exactly. And so this was a big deal for Ohio State, I think. And I mean, you don't want to be the team that's down 5 in a rivalry that big. And so Ohio State breaks that losing streak. And then, of course, Michigan, with everything that happened last season, Michigan protected their logo, which I really respected how that game ended. Especially compared to last season. Just, there was, as competitive as they are, there was sportsmanship showed there, not fighting on the logo or anything.
Yeah.
So respect to that. But yeah, a big win for Ohio State, getting back in the rivalry, not falling another game behind.
Yeah, I love what you said, the sportsmanship. Ryan Day telling his players, like, hey, like, it's fine. Like, we don't go plant the flag. Like, let's be good sports. They are the number 1 team. And of course, it was a little close early. I mean, Julian Sayin threw one of his few picks of the season, his 5th pick of the season. Made him sweat it a little bit with Michigan getting up 6-0 on some early field goals. Yeah. But again, Ohio State ran away with it, showing that, well, they do still have the all-time win record in that in the game.
And then finally, and this is kind of one of my favorite ones because it was NFL wide. 7 upsets, some bigger than others. 7 upsets in Week 13. I'll go through them in order. Starting on Thanksgiving, we had Packers beating the Lions. That was a small margin of the win percentage was a lot smaller there, but still an upset. Cowboys over Chiefs, big upset. Bengals over Ravens. Bears over Eagles. Texans over Colts. Jets over Falcons. Panthers over Rams. And I said that like there was one more, but there's not. Those were the 7 upsets, and we almost had an 8th with Washington over Denver.
Yeah, that one.
And that would have been probably the biggest one out of all. but 7 upsets in the same week. It was just a crazy week to be an NFL fan. And like some of these were incredible games. Panthers versus Rams, like you said, like that was a very good game. Jets over Falcons was I think a 3-point game.
Yeah, down to the wire.
Texans over Colts, a really close game. Cowboys versus Chiefs, a pretty close game.
Yeah.
These were really, really good games. And the underdog team, this was the week for them. And that just makes football more fun when you don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And it was a good week to watch football. Of course, if you're a fan of the teams that lost, maybe you don't agree.
Yeah.
But just a big week, a very surprising week. And I mean, it shifted a lot of things in the playoffs for NFC and AFC. A lot of movement just based off of this 1 week. So yeah, some of the games went as we thought, but 7 upsets in 1 week. I didn't look up how often things like this happen, but it seems like this is fairly rare to have this many consistent upsets in a week. So definitely a big storyline. And like I said, this just does a lot. This week did a lot for the playoffs moving forward. This is a storyline that's going to continue to develop as we move forward.
Yeah,
And yeah,
definitely.
That's what I got.
I love it. Love those storylines. Lots of good stuff. I think every week we've either had a wild week in the NFL or college. There's always been some sort of chaos. Less chaotic week in college, so we got a lot of chaos in the NFL
Exactly.
this week. It's just the way it goes.
So true.
For my 3 storylines, we're going all college. After I just said we don't have anything to talk about in college football.
Hey, I went all NFL, you go all college.
Exactly.
This is the perfect duo.
Exactly. I love it. And all of it either has to do with the playoffs or coaching carousel. Number 1, we'll talk about the playoffs, specifically the ACC championship or Group of 5. And also, my dad just texted me saying that the Steelers picked up newly waived Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen just got waived by the Vikings a couple days ago, and he said he wants to sign with another team to finish his last NFL season, saying he's retiring at the end of the season. It's the Steelers. So, thank you, Dad, for the news break, and
Perfect timing.
there you go. Exactly.
There you go.
But ACC, Virginia versus Duke. Duke has 5 losses. We talked about how crazy it would be for them to get in. My guess is Virginia wins this game and they get in. If Duke wins this game, I'm assuming that 2 Group of 5 teams get in the playoffs before Duke does, because likely those will be Tulane or UNT. I think either of those teams would be the best team in the playoffs, or best Group of 5 team in the playoffs, worst team in the playoffs. Or James Madison, and there could be more chaos. What if Duke wins? You can't put a 5-win team in the playoffs. But like either UNT or Tulane would be a good one. But let's say like Troy beats James Madison in the Sun Belt Championship. So who gets in? Does UNLV get in? If they beat Boise State, does Boise State get in as a 4-loss team over a 5-loss Duke? Does a MAC team would never get in. That would be an atrocity. But just a lot of craziness. You look at the playoff predictor right now, ESPN, FPI. They only give James Madison, North Texas, and Tulane, and Boise State chances to make the playoffs. But craziness can always happen. They don't even give Duke a chance to make the playoffs. I just think, what if Duke wins, Troy beats JMU, who gets in?
Yeah.
Does Troy? Does JMU? Does Boise State? What if Boise State loses? Does UNLV get in? But also I want to talk about, does the ACC need a new tiebreaker? Because you look at the ACC standings. There is a 5-way tie for second place. Why did it pull up the AAC standings? ACC. At 6-2, we have Duke, Miami, Pitt, SMU, and Georgia Tech. Of course, Virginia is alone at 7-1 in the conference. Of course, their other loss was to a conference opponent in a non-con game. Wild stuff. But you look at the other teams at 6-2. Duke, no way they're making it to the playoffs. But Miami, there's a chance they could get in that large bid to the playoffs. Pitt, they've had some pretty good games. Georgia Tech, they were in the top 10 some this season. All of these, any of those three teams would be a much better team than even SMU. Probably deserves this more than Duke.
Yeah.
And they have the most losses of any of these. And I don't remember what exactly the ACC's tiebreaker is right now. But should it be non-conference wins? Because then you could just schedule 3 cupcakes, 3 FCS teams, and that'd be easy.
Yeah.
Should it be a win margin? Should it be... I don't know what it should be, but Duke probably does not belong in this conference championship game. It's not going to be... it could be a competitive game, but they would not be competitive in the playoffs like Miami could be or Georgia Tech even could be. We saw Georgia Tech keep it close as Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Just some craziness with the ACC in the playoffs. So all of that, we'll lump that into storyline number 1.
Yeah.
And then storylines 2 and 3 are pretty close. Number 2 is the coaching carousel in college football. I have an article pulled up that just shows a lot of the new coaching firings and hirings. And, of course, it's the coaching carousel because these top teams, you think Penn State fires their head coach.
LSU.
I'm blanking. Yeah, LSU fires their head coach. Florida, Auburn, like so many of these. Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy's out. And then the lower level teams, their coaches get hired, which opens up theirs. So do they go to OCs? Do they go to even lower level head coaches? So just some of the most notable hirings as of recently. We'll talk about, I messed it up. Florida hired John Sumrall from Tulane. Big hiring there. John Sumrall has had a great season at Tulane. And then similarly, the other team in the AAC championship, Oklahoma State has hired Eric Morris, which is maybe my favorite hire. I love this. I'm really excited to see Oklahoma State next season. I'm assuming that Drew Mestemaker and Caleb Hawkins follow Eric Morris to Oklahoma State. Love that. Virginia Tech hired James Franklin. That's a huge one. Colorado State hired UConn's head coach, Jim Mora. Arkansas hired Memphis' head coach, Ryan Silverfield. Auburn hired South Florida's head coach, Alex Golesh. That's 4 head coaches from the AAC going to the SEC. Just power teams, Power 4 teams. Oklahoma State, obviously not in the SEC. These are just some quality hirings. But again, we look at the most dramatic 2. LSU hiring Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss promoting Pete Golding, their DC, to their head coach. Just kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, Lane Kiffin is leaving Ole Miss for LSU to get a better shot at a championship. But Ole Miss is in the playoffs as we speak. They will be in there.
Yeah.
Of course, LSU has a better coaching pedigree.
And recruiting.
NIL. Ole Miss is not a very big school, actually. Nothing, and not anywhere compared to LSU. And if you look at championship wins, three of the last 4 coaches at LSU have won a championship. You think about Brian Kelly, obviously didn't. Coach O had some great wins. I mean, even Nick Saban, when he was there, had a championship win. Lane Kiffin hopes to continue that pedigree. But again, the other option was loyalty, honestly.
Yeah.
And of course, there's great, I see all of his side. LSU is a great school where you want to coach.
You can understand his reasonings.
LSU's a blue blood in college football. There's a few programs where it's okay, if you want to win a championship, you probably come to these schools to coach. LSU, Alabama, Notre Dame, Georgia as of recently. But of course they've become a powerhouse. But historically, Ole Miss hasn't been the team to win. But again, we see the transfer portal changing a lot of things. Who would have thought that Indiana would be a powerhouse?
Yeah.
Vanderbilt would be a powerhouse. And both of their coaches are now signed to long-term deals. And they believe they can win at their schools. And Lane Kiffin did the opposite, which, again, I'm not taking sides, obviously. But it's just a really interesting, dramatic exit from Ole Miss. And, of course, it's very, very Lane Kiffin.
Very.
No mattresses burning this time. But definitely some angry fans at the airport.
Angry fans at the airport, but...
And, all over.
And it's just hard, like, what does this mean for Ole Miss in the playoffs? Like, what's
Exactly.
going to happen now?
And, of course, their DC has been with them. He's their long-term head coach now. And I think that was a great way to handle it.
Yeah.
You say, like, okay, like, this is our guy, not just for the playoffs. Like, you're not saying, okay, this is kind of an interim team. And, of course, their reasoning, like, Lane Kiffin wanted to stay for the playoffs, but they didn't want him to because, like, they didn't want to advertise LSU for the playoffs, which makes sense. But I think there's a good way to handle it because he's already there. So
Absolutely.
we'll see.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
That's probably the biggest headline that's come up over the past week or so, or really 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah, really. I mean, if you ask me like the morning of before the Egg Bowl, like I was thinking like, oh, like he's probably gonna stay.
Yeah.
But then like as I'm watching it and as like I'm reading more and more, I was like, no, he's gone. Lane Kiffin's gone, and he's LSU's head coach.
He is the head coach of LSU. It'll be interesting to see how that changes because obviously this year they started out strong and then
Very
very
underperformed.
Yeah, and so it'll be interesting to see how he can transform and build up that team.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And I mean, I feel like that LSU, I don't think has to worry about their recruitment value.
Yeah.
It probably makes it even higher.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And so it'll be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
But those are 3 fantastic storylines.
I love it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
To end it, you want to do something we haven't done at all this season. We did it almost every episode last season. You want to make your early Super Bowl pick. If you have something off the top of your head. I know we're a little long for this episode.
Let me think. No, I mean, we're right at an hour.
Oh, well, perfect.
An hour and 1 minute.
There you go.
Let's see. Do you have yours?
No, that's
Okay.
I should think of mine too.
No, all right. I'm thinking right now. I think that the Super Bowl is going to be. I have my one team. I'm trying to think of my second team.
I think we're gonna both pick the same team, and I don't like that.
I think it's going to be Rams versus. I just don't want to say Patriots. I just haven't seen them play a good team.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going.
I'm going to say Rams versus Broncos. Right.
Okay.
now.
I 100% believe in the Rams. I'm gonna pick them for the NFC as well. They're my number 1 team by far in the NFL right now. Sure, they just lost, but like Matthew Stafford's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
Their defense has a great young core. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, even Blake Corum's been a great running back too. We saw Kyron Williams dealing with a little injury last game. The NFC has a lot more teams that I think could win the Super Bowl right now. When you look at the amount of teams that have shown a lot. And the AFC has, I think, more teams with question marks. When you look at the Colts, the Broncos, as we mentioned, playing down.
That's what they
not
do.
winning by much. Chiefs and Chargers, both just a lot of question marks. The AFC North not really having, there's a good chance their winner will be under 500. But right now, if I had to pick, everyone in the AFC is so inconsistent. I might honestly go with the Ravens in the AFC.
The Ravens?
Because they've been on a win streak.
Yeah.
Of course, they lost to the Bengals. But I think that if you look at how their season ends, Patriots, Packers, Steelers, if they win those, they'll be in a prime spot to win their division.
And those would be statement wins.
Exactly.
Those are big wins.
There'll be a lot for them to ride into the playoffs. And so right now, I'm going to say Rams over Ravens. I don't know with the AFC. Everyone's inconsistent.
The
Patriots
AFC's hard.
Patriots are really good, but again, they don't have that playoff experience on their team.
And even they just haven't played good teams.
Yeah, they beat the Bills, but that's early. It could be a fluke.
And the Bills have been inconsistent.
The Bills have been very inconsistent, and none of their other wins are that. The Bucks, but again, the Bucks are kind of inconsistent with all their injuries. Yeah, exactly. And again, we could see Mike Vrabel play a huge role here. Has some deep playoff experience with the Titans with their run and Derrick Henry's crazy season, knocking the Ravens out when they were the 1 seed.
Yep.
But we'll see. Right now, I'm going with the Ravens in the AFC, but I think the Rams are the best team. So I think the Rams are going to take it.
Rams, okay. All right.
I'm going to write these down.
Yes.
Where are we at? Super Bowl. That's one bowl. Super Bowl picks. I'll put mine in.
Episode 39?
Rams. Yeah, that's crazy. Average podcast, 0 episodes. Nice Catch podcast, 39.
Hey,
You said that with like the same tone of voice. That was really funny.
It's because we're locked. That's because it's just what happens when you're podcast hosts and best friends. They just
Exactly.
like that.
There you go. Same wavelength. There we go. It's in there.
Right.
We'll look back. After the season, huh?
Sorry, I was trying to make an acronym in my head, but don't worry about me.
It's all good.
Don't worry about me. I'm just over here. I'm just across the table. Don't worry about me.
We'll end on this. Guess how many pages we have in our podcast notes. Of course, a lot of this I've just like done stuff for fun that don't really have anything to do with the podcast. But if you think of 39 episodes,
I'm not gonna look, and I'm thinking of like how it takes a. I'm gonna say we have 25 pages
for 39 episodes with some extra stuff, it's a little more than that.
I'm gonna say 50.
A little more.
Oh my gosh. 63. 67?
It might be.
There's no way. We can't. All right, we got to start a new podcast. We got to start a new notes page because we are not changing this.
No.
Oh, that's incredible.
Anyway, I was just looking, and I feel like that's oh, man.
I'm glad we brought that up.
Yeah.
That's how we want to end this episode.
That's how we'll end it.
Yeah.
So, and buy some merch.
And buy some merch.
What if we make 6? Never
60.
mind.
No.
No.
And yeah, for everybody that listens, I know we've said this a couple times. We're trying to kind of like bump up the Instagram, and we're posting stuff, some new kinds of videos, some new graphics. If you listen to this podcast and you have Instagram and you're not following us, we would love for you to follow us. That helps us. That helps us get a little bit more outreach. Repost things. Share things to your story. That would be amazing because that helps us a lot. And, like if you click on the page, just click one more button and follow,
Exactly.
we're not spamming you, but we just give updates.
Mm-hmm.
We when important things happen, we'll put it on our story a lot of times.
Yeah.
So we're the in between episodes, we're still kind of getting you a little bit of headlines and stuff during the week, and letting you know when episodes come out, merch, things like that. Because we have things we're looking forward to and trying to build up, but a lot of that depends on interaction, and so we would really appreciate that.
Definitely.
That's what I got.
We love it. We're working on it. We're trying to make our Instagram even more engaging.
Exactly.
Baden and I, we're more sports experts, not Instagram experts. So.
Now that no truer statement has ever been true.
No. Ooh. Good one there.
Yeah.
But end it there?
End it there.
Awesome. Thanks for listening to the Nice Catch podcast. We're here to serve you, our listener, and give you the football content you deserve. If you love football, continue to tune in each episode, from the off-season all the way through the playoffs. This is the Nice Catch podcast.